Welcome to this video. I'm out in the garden today and it's an absolutely beautiful day. It's been raining the last couple days, but sunshine's peeking through today, and I'm out in the garden doing some planting. So today I'm planting some tomatoes, some zucchini, and some sweet bell peppers. We actually have some volunteer tomatoes, some cherry tomatoes coming up from last year. There's just a lot of them dropped in a certain area, and I love the idea of letting volunteers that, could be useful grow and flourish. With the volunteer tomatoes, the cherry tomatoes that are popping up, I went ahead and thinned all of the ones out that weren't in the right spots. I'm not going to transplant them. I'm just found some that are in a good spot. As the volunteer cherry tomatoes grow, I'm going to keep adding compost to them, trim off the bottom leaves, and just make sure that they're really sturdy and secure and well taken care of. I'm so excited because May marks the time of year where the chance of frost is so low, and today I'm going to be planting some summer crops for the first time. The spring garden is growing really well, and I'm very excited for all the things that we're going to be harvesting this spring. But now I'm looking forward to the summer garden, and it starts today. I'm going to be planting peppers, tomatoes, and zucchini. I am excited to be planting some sweet bell peppers. We have some space between our spinach bed and our onions and kale and garlic. So I have a nice little spot where I'm just putting 6 bell peppers, but with sowing seed directly into the garden, you always want to put a few more, and I like to space them apart just an inch or so. That way when you thin them out, you're not going to hurt the other plants, but they're all relatively in the area you want them to grow. Yeah, so I'm excited for those. I planted some zucchini in 2 different spots. I had been letting some plantain bushes grow in that area, and it's amazing. You see little plantain all over in grassy fields and pretty much everywhere. They're considered a weed, but they're highly medicinal. You can make all sorts of different salves and plantain oil, and they're really healing. Plantain's a very healing plant. It helps with bee stings and cuts, and it's an antiseptic and antibacterial, antifungal. But our little rabbit Willow, who's joining me out in the garden today, loves plantain, so I've been kind of growing it in the garden. That way if we have a bee sting or just want to grab some for Willow, we have it around. And it's amazing how large plantain grows when you water it and keep it in a garden bed and kind of take care of it as if you were cultivating it. So it's pretty neat. But I'm taking a few of the plantain out today to make room for 2 zucchinis. I went ahead and planted several in each spot just to make sure that if a snail comes around and eats one, or one doesn't do so well, that I'll for sure have zucchini in both of those areas. Yeah, and seeds are aplenty. That is why plants, when they go to seed, there's sometimes hundreds or thousands of seeds per plant. And when you start getting to the practice of saving your own seeds, you see that each seed is valuable, but they also get eaten by birds or bugs, or don't germinate, or the sprouts get eaten by many different things. So I'm just sowing plenty of seed, and if I need to thin it out, that's no problem. I'm in the meantime practicing saving seed, like saving seed from chard and kale. I always let one or two plants that we want to keep around and want to grow again and again go to seed, so I can practice the art of saving that seed and not having to buy packets of seed, which can be costly when you're growing a garden, like a large amount of food every year. But I love the idea of just letting volunteers be volunteers. We have lettuce popping up in different places that I didn't intentionally plant it there this year. We have some dill popping up in a couple places. We have pumpkins. We composted our Halloween pumpkins this year in our compost, and we didn't take the seeds out of them, so there's so many jack-o'-lantern pumpkins growing. I've just been thinning them out, letting them, just go back to the soil, be kind of a chop and drop mulch, which is great. They are edible, so you can eat them, or I give them to my rabbit Willow. But we did go ahead and keep some, and we're gonna grow our own Halloween pumpkins this year, so that's fun. Yeah, I have a little pumpkin patch spot, and that's doing really well. And everything in the garden's doing really well. Everything's showing its true leaves. I've been thinning plants out that are too crowded together. I like to sow a lot, and then, whatever does well, just go ahead and thin out the sprouts around plants that I want to keep. The peas are finally starting to climb the trellis, and that's really exciting. Thank you for joining me today out in the garden. It's such a lovely day to be out here. This year I'm trying to spend as much time out in the garden, just being with all the different seeds and sprouts that are coming up. I hope you join me for my next video.